So I want to know, Jack, because you have learned people and you have learned how to negotiate quite well over the years. What is one of your best examples of a challenge that kind of taught you a lot of these key factors in understanding this ability to negotiate these big deals?
Really wealthy people need to feel a sense of competition and a sense of urgency. And that manifests itself in, well, lots of times. But here's a story that sort of illustrates what I'm going to talk about. We went on a listing presentation for a house, and it was, I think it was like in the sixes somewhere. And we did our whole thing, and the seller's like, great, we want to list with you. We'll list with you. We just want to exclude the next door neighbor because he's always said if this house ever comes on the market, he'd like to buy it. What I said was, well, you know what? We don't do exclusions. We can do one of two things. Number one, you can go to that seller, you can go to that buyer and sell your house to him directly, and cut me out. And if you need some coaching along the way and have any questions, give me a shout, and I'll be happy to help you. Or you can list it with me now, and I'll go sell it to that guy, and I'll get more than you will, more than enough to pay my fee. In this one particular situation, the seller said, no, I want to try to do it on my own, and I'll call you if it doesn't work out. So being forgetful as I am, it was like 4 or 5 months later, it's totally gone from my mind. The seller calls me back again, and he says, I'm ready to list my house. I went to the next door neighbor, and the most he would pay is he offered me $4.5 million, wouldn't come up anymore. We both know it's worth more, so you can have the listing. So I listed it for $6.5 million. 5 days later, sold it to the next door neighbor for $6.5 million. And I could sit here or stand here and say, well, it's because I'm such a great genius and all this stuff. But the real reason is that prior to my listing the property, that next door neighbor didn't have any sense of urgency or sense of competition. Until his family saw me driving in the driveway next door, bringing buyers in, they had the property all to themselves. Sometimes you're sitting at a table now. Mm-hmm. Now I'll say to a seller, listen, let's pretend this entire tabletop represents the market for your property. Why would we want to limit the exposure to the area of this one folder? Oh, see that piece of paper on your desk? Why do we want to limit the market to this one piece of paper when there's this whole market out there? Because even if this piece of paper represents the ultimate buyer, the ultimate market for your house, it needs to feel the sense of competition and sense of urgency that comes about from competing with the entire table.
Exactly.
So they need to feel that sense of competition. So we sold it to the next door neighbor for $2 million more, which more than paid our fee. I swear, the same thing happened on the other side of that house. And we had the property listed. The next door neighbor came and looked at it. We hate it, we hate it, we hate it. We don't want it. We have enough property. We're too old. We're too blah, blah, blah. The second we had a buyer, they swooped in and aced them out. Because when they had the house all to themselves, no interest. As soon as they had an inkling that someone else was going to be next door to them, boom, bought it, another $5 million sale.
Exactly.